Bangalore. I'm Soheil Modirzadeh, chair of MIPI DevCon. We're excited to spend the day with you talking about how MIPI is enabling or moving forward mobile and enabling emerging technologies like automotive and IoT. On behalf of MIPI Alliance and its members, I would like to thank you for joining us today. Our first speaker is Peter Lefkin, MIPI Alliance's Managing Director. He will start the event with a few opening remarks. Please welcome Peter.
Thank you, Soheil. I'd like to welcome, on behalf of the MIPI board, I'd like to welcome everybody to Bangalore. This is actually our first time to India. MIPI Alliance has been in existence for 13 years. We have a lot of members, a lot of participants, a lot of companies located in India, so we're very pleased to be able to be here. MIPI Alliance is developing specifications for mobile, but also beyond mobile. You'll hear about that today. We are focused on not only the people who develop our specifications, but those of you who are implementing the specifications, and that's why we're here. This is for you. There are not many places in the world, I think, that you can get content and education about MIPI Alliance specifications. And we look forward to continuing to build upon this, to provide developers with resources, including software, to support our hardware specifications. So I don't want to take much time. You'll hear a lot about MIPI. Please feel free. I will be around the conference today. If you have any questions or would like to have a discussion about MIPI Alliance, please feel free to stop by. I wish you a good meeting and a good day. And again, thanks very much for attending.
Thank you, Peter. Our next speaker is Mr. Guarav Gupta. Mr. Gupta is an officer of the Indian Administrative Service and is currently serving the Karnataka government as Principal Secretary, Department of Information Technology, Biotechnology, and Science and Technology. Mr. Gupta previously worked as Commissioner for Industrial Development to promote industries and investments in the state of Karnataka, and before that served in various senior positions in state government, including serving as chairman of the Bangalore Water Board. His approach has been to facilitate trade and business. He has worked to create critical infrastructure such as transport, water, and electricity for the state and also for the city of Bangalore. In his present capacity, he is working to create the infrastructure for the IT and biotechnology industries, incentivize investments, and promote startups. He's also working to promote the electronic manufacturing and animation and visual effects industries. Please help me welcome Mr. Gupta.
Good morning to all of you. It's really a privilege for us to be addressing this conference today, and I must really compliment and thank the MIPI Alliance for organizing this workshop here today in Bangalore. City of Bangalore, in which I'm sure that more than half of you will be resident of Bangalore, is the capital of innovation and technology in the country. It has a robust network of IT and electronic companies, research institutions, as well as a very vibrant network of startups, hundreds of entrepreneurs, and thousands of entrepreneurs, and creative ideas, new energies, new startups, and I'm sure that this is a very apt place for this conference today. Bangalore is the fourth largest technology cluster in the world, is projected to become one of the largest later in the coming decades. It is also the 5th most preferred destinations for companies to house their global innovation centers. We have global innovation centers from who's who of the international companies, and with over 750 multinational companies, 5,000 plus startups, multiple global research and development centers. The city is a thriving, vibrant ecosystem of technological talent and work. And why it has emerged like this is it started as a science and technology city way back in 1915 when Indian Institute of Science came to be established here. It then metamorphosed into aerospace city, then into a telecom related city, and then into IT and IT services, and now into startups. Biotechnology came on the way, and now what we have is confluence of number of technologies that are coming up, and each one of them impinging on the other. And very recently I had an occasion to be in a very select conference chaired by the President of India in the Indian Institute of Science with the leading scientific community across India. And that had the Secretary of Science and Technology, the Secretary of Department of Biotechnology, all of them flew in from Delhi, and the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Prime Minister, the head of the defense research organizations, and number of others. And all of them really were very, very passionate about the kind of ecosystem that has come up here, and how a lot of things are emerging from this, and how we can benefit from all this to improve the lot of our nation and also emerge very strongly on the world map. Karnataka, of which Bangalore is the capital, is also a national powerhouse in the field of electronics and system design. We have been major contributors to the country's electronic industrial output. We are the largest chip design hub of the country with more than 100 companies operating in the state, including global majors in semiconductors and system design. Close to 70% of India's chip designers reside and work in the state, and more than 200,000 people employed in various companies. The state share has been growing at more than 20% cumulative annual growth rate over the last few years. We envision that state output will grow tenfold over the next 5 to 10 years to touch US $40 billion by 2025. To facilitate this rapid growth in the electronics manufacturing sector, the state government has been supporting the industry through a dedicated policy framework. We were the first state to launch a semiconductor policy in 2010, followed up with the electronic system design and manufacturing policy in 2013. And with the help of the industry, we have helped to create infrastructure facilities and manufacturing clusters, not only in Bangalore, but in the cities of Mysore, Hubli, and number of others. In the next step, we are trying to see how startups and small and medium enterprises get benefited in the electronics sector. We are planning a number of initiatives like adoption of new products and solutions, and taking up new pilot projects in different states of the different cities of the state. We are also encouraging grassroots entrepreneurship and supporting them through incubation and acceleration programs. To support the ecosystem, we are also planning to strengthen the Semiconductor Venture Fund, which we have launched in the year 2014, and we have already dispersed close to rupees 21 crores to various startups in the field of electronic system design. One of the outcomes of this support and resulting technology revolution is how the face of the industry is changing through always connected mobile systems. The Internet of Things is a prime example of how various technologies can be combined to build new platforms and systems to aid social innovation. IoT is also being used now to track assets, provide safety and security to people through surveillance and monitoring on a real-time basis, and assisting governments to enable smart living with sustainable solutions. To further our focus on these areas, we have come up with a Center of Excellence on IoT in association with NASSCOM in 2016, here very close from this place within a kilometer, and have already incubated a number of IoT related startups. We have also set up a dedicated center for mobile technologies in association with IAMAI, and they are also working in the Diamond District, Bengaluru, very close by from this place. As we go ahead, the IoT is going to help us to improve governance, deliver better services to citizens, and extract better value from public assets. And we are fully confident that the IoT Center of Excellence will play a very important role in this transformation. A result of this progress can also be visualized in the way our smart cities are planned. Although in very, very nascent stage, we have 7 cities in Karnataka that have been selected under the Smart City Mission of Government of India, have proposed interconnected utility systems, intelligent mobility and traffic management, smart lighting and surveillance, and continuous real-time monitoring of environment and other parameters. All these systems, once implemented, have a potential to change the living standards of our state citizens and also greatly enhance the sustainability of urban living. And as these programs get extended to other areas in the state and the country, I'm sure that our cities will no longer be associated with the ills of underdevelopment, but would become the engines of future growth in the country. As we move towards the future, the state government is realigning its focus on high-tech areas, not only in electronics, but also in aerospace, in robotics, in 3D printing, medical devices, machine learning, etc. And we are in the process of setting up technology business incubators in association with the leading research institutions, and also centers of excellence across the state in association with the industry. COEs on aerospace and defense, cyber security, and data science and machine learning have already been approved in the last 1 year, and in some of them the work has also started. In others, we are in the process of finalizing this. And these centers of excellence are basically industry driven. They are industry driven for research, for skill development, and for training. And these are supported by the government in order to ensure that there is a continuity in the research and in the field of development. We in the government believe that today's innovation ecosystem in Bangalore and around in Karnataka provides a wonderful opportunity to find unique and innovative solutions to many challenges that beset our society. We have been working with the startups under the ambit of Grand Challenges initiative to identify solutions to socially relevant problems and solve key issues relating to sewage, health, pollution, agriculture, etc. These challenges have been designed to solve the society's problems and encouraging startups to work on these. The selected solutions are being funded to transform the idea into a proof of concept and prototype, and also to validate the same through implementation of a pilot in association with government. Similarly, the government is also promoting innovation through grant and funding support, like idea to proof of concept. In our Department of Information Technology, Biotechnology and Science and Technology, we have funds up to rupees 50 lakhs for an innovator who is looking for funds for proof of concept validation, certification, and cover cost in manufacturing of pilot devices, etc. We conducted very recently, one of its kind Elevate program, for which we selected 100 startups from more than 1,700 who applied. And I encourage the people present here to participate in these government programs and take up initiatives and build up a more vibrant and robust startup and a small medium enterprise infrastructure for electronics in the state. Very shortly, in the next 15 days, we are going to have a Bangalore Tech Summit, which will come up as a integrated summit for IT.com and Bangalore India Bio. And these technologies which have emerged have very, very bright future, and I'm sure that the Bangalore Tech Summit will unveil number of new technologies which are coming up, and also we have leading practitioners from across the world who will be coming and speaking there. The state government recognizes the need for action more than words. Not only are we taking up these initiatives and programs, but we are also executing them to enhance the ease of doing business for companies. The government has set up a facilitation cell, especially for the electronic sector companies. This is in addition to the startup cell, which has already been functioning since 2016 and supporting the entire startup ecosystem. We are a state that welcomes industry and works with industry captains and associations to create unique experiences and opportunities. Industry also benefits through the availability of a huge skilled talent pool, good infrastructure and support ecosystem, and high qualified educational facilities. We have partnerships with the best in the world and with number of leading countries, and we have people from these countries and different states of the US who are coming here in order to partner with us. This symbiotic relationship has continued over the last few years, and we believe that with all these initiatives being taken up, Karnataka is well poised to continue to lead from the front and become a state of choice for electronics and system design companies. I wish this program in MIPI Alliance a great success and look forward to very positive outcomes from this workshop. Thank you.
Aloknath Dey. Dr. Dey is Corporate VP and Chief Technology Officer of Samsung R&D Institute India in Bangalore. Dr. Dey has more than 30 years of industrial and research experience, including positions with Nortel Networks, Hughes Network Systems, and ST Ericsson, where he was R&D Director and Country Manager. Please help me welcome Dr. Dey.
Okay, great. Good morning. Let me just go down the slide and show you what you have been doing. Isn't it nice to show to the architect of MIPI Alliance to show their mobile system diagram? The reason I'm showing is twofold. First of all, it's to appreciate the work that you have been doing, and I got this opportunity to study a bit more, and I'm amazed to see all the contributions that you have been making. So thank you again, and collectively, if we can have a round of applause for all of you. And the second reason that I did, if you think this is your mobile system diagram, and if I ask and go back to Samsung, my mobile team, and I ask them to draw a mobile system diagram, do you think they will draw this diagram? Probably not, right? If you walk Fifth Avenue in New York, probably you see all the skyscrapers, right? That's what our people see. But there is a lot of things underground. The foundation of the building, the parking lot, the connectivity between two buildings, and that's what your contributions are, probably from our perspective. So this is what has been the contributions, and if I look into, if I ask our people, what is the world of bit? They will say 5G with high throughput, high-speed data. But for you, it's that M5, connectivity between the application processor and the modem processors. You see the VGI. If I talk about, the pixels, for us, it's about the multimedia. It's about augmented reality. But for you, it's the CSI, DSI, the C5, D5, the evolution of that. If I talk about sensors and IoT, it's all about IoT connectivity, but for you, it's probably the iCube-C. And it's a great contributions, and I would like to present not your part of the work that you know more, but probably what's going around in our world. Like this MIPI DevCon, we also had a Samsung developer conference in San Francisco last week, and we had this as a connected thinking, because as people get more and more devices, they need to be managing it, but it's not possible that way. So how do you make sure there is a seamless movement of content, there is a convergence, and you take that data and connect them so that we can live an easy life through the technology. So there were many announcements, but one of the fundamental ones is how do you also make systems more intelligent? And we announced Bixby, which is like if you are talking to your device, you can give some commands and it will execute. That's a first step, and then we will bring intelligence in the world of 5G, in the world of augmented reality, and in IoT. So I'm splitting in these three parts, probably 5 minutes in each we could talk about. When you talk about 5G, as you can see, your speeds, has been moving from 1 megabits per second from this to 525 megabits per second to a teleconference that can be there. From there, if you go further, we are talking about 200 megabits per second to 1 gigabits per second with 6 DOF, degrees of freedom. You not only have your X, Y, Z, but also you can move up, down, go left, right, move backward, forward. So that's a kind of it. In 5G, we talk about a triangle. In the triangle, the top part is the throughput, the high speed. We are talking about 10x from the LTE that is there, and even maybe more with the high speed of vehicle mobility. Then we have ultra reliability and low latency communications on the bottom side, and you see the man-machine communications on the left triangle vertex. And then different applications. So those applications, as you see, just to name few, if you're looking at self-driving car and mission-critical applications, that has to have low latency and a very high reliability. Otherwise, it's not going to work. But as you move up, more of the 3D videos, UHD screens, augmented reality, you need the speed. Probably you don't need that level of low latency. But if you have an interactive games, probably more required. Same way, left side is all about the machine communications. M2M, there is a forum, and we talk about smart cities, smart homes, in which how can you plug and play, and those devices will start talking to each other. So that's the reality, and in that reality, we talk about bandwidth, we see cloud, we see many of the other applications where hazardous work is there, remote healthcare, driving, all those are very, very important. There are many disruptive technologies. I will not go into that, but just to give you a flavor of it related to your work, we're talking about below 3 gigahertz in the LTE. All 4G communications are below that. But when you come to 5G, we are talking about 3 gig to 6 gig, 6 to 60, or beyond 60. There are 3 such bands people are talking about. We are working on 28 gigahertz as Samsung, and 39. Many other companies are getting into it. But what's the point is, when you go up this frequency, there are a lot of atmospheric losses, challenges, attenuations that we have to deal with through channel modeling. But also, as you go up the frequency, your wavelength goes down, and therefore many things, including your RF, you can probably do on chip. So when you bring the RF in the IC, the interference goes up, and of a different type. How do you combat that? 6 gigahertz, massive MIMO, multiple input, multiple output. Since the spacing of the antenna is very small, it's a lambda by 4 or lambda by 2, and lambda being small, you can do fantastic work of 8 by 8 antenna array, and you can channelize all of those energy to form a beam through a massive MIMO and have one antenna in a particular direction. Because you have atmospheric losses, that is a mechanism to circumvent. Or you can take some 4 of antennas with a subsample of that. You need to design new waveforms, orthogonal frequency division, multiplexing, modulations, but we are talking about new filtered bank. Advanced D2D, peer-to-peer communications. How do you make sure that ultra-low latency comes? What's the mechanism? Because today, everything is going to the core network and then coming down. Do I need to go, if I'm talking to each other in this room, why do I need to go travel to somewhere else as a base station and then come down? Can we not do peer-to-peer communications, machine to machine, without having them through the hubs of one type or the other and reduce the latency? Many things are local in that sense in our new world of communications. So that's your advanced D2D, enhanced flat network, and multi-rat interworking is about I have Wi-Fi, I have LTE, I have 5G. If I don't have in a region 5G, can I fall back to LTE and others? So this is the world of ours. And if you look into this 5G connectivity, you will understand why I need those high speed. If I want to do a smart city, 10 CCTVs, 1 digital signage, 5 LTE small cells, you can have your lamp post and have a base stations and connect and cover a particular region. You don't need a mega base stations. Like that, 250 sensors plugging it into different places, public Wi-Fi, that adds up to 3 gigs per second, and that is an example of that. So what we are doing in Samsung, recently we did a KDDI 5G handover test. If you see below, these are the car speed, 205 kilometers per hour, 192. At that rate, how do you do a handover from one base stations to another base stations without having a call drop? So we have been doing a lot of experiments, and we have announced that Pyeongchang Winter Olympics in Korea in February, so we will be having the first trial effectively. It's not with the right form factor. It's still bigger than what people like. It's a tablet type of it. But the 3 stadiums where the games will be, one of them we will be manning and operating. So people would have new experience of 5G data rate. So that's about 5G. Let me talk about the pixels part of it. So that's one of the examples is augmented reality. And as you have seen different mobile phones, I remember we have seen 2 megapixel front and 1 maybe rear. That's how it started. And today, I don't know what it has reached. Your phone size, the display size, the screen grown up. The camera megapixels have gone to even some companies use 40 megapixels, 60 megapixels. Obviously, it doesn't mean that quality goes up just like that, but also you have to see the DPI, the density per inch. So in Samsung, our latest phones, we have the 12 megapixels with 2 PD phase detector, we manage it. So that's how you manage your megapixels, how do you transmit. And then revolution of cameras, it's not just about the static, the phones, but VR cameras, 360 cameras. These days, we are having, and how do you manage those contents, how do you compress, is a whole new ball game that we are looking into. We started doing some of those compression technologies earlier from early days to today, H.264, we moved to HEVC, H.265, lot of compression technology. But in your world, obviously it's not that what I make it there is fine, but how do you maintain the fidelity as it transmits physically through your devices? What about the chips or between 2 chips, application processor to modem processor? Our people, Dale has been participating in display, and this is a diagram from processor to display and MIPI DSI, DSI2, your display streaming compressions technology. So you are managing that part of it. We talk about compression ratio and the fidelity in our term, what we want to achieve, but main point is it lossy or is it lossless? And if it's lossy, then how much is it? So there are metrics, the way we look into it, how it's perceptually valued. But you also have definitions of fractional response against the compressions, and you can define the image quality from that angle. So those subjective measures, objective measures, and the degree of lossless defines the technology. This is one thing that the world is getting excited more. We started with VR and a lot of games that is there. We did work with IIT Delhi also here, Humpy. It took 3 years together to build the Humpy in virtual reality, pixel by pixel capturing. And you can navigate. We have a beautiful VR recording of you can travel through the doors from one door to the other, and you will see intricate work of Humpy. That's a UNESCO site in Karnataka. And, but the one issue with the virtual reality is about the giddiness. You cannot have it for a very long time, and people are trying to solve those problems. In the meantime, what has happened is instead of having this whole new virtual, world becoming reality, why don't I have my real world, but augment that with something more? And that's your augmented reality. So if I see something, I see this whole space, but if I have my glass or some other devices, I also see a pen, and I can pick that pen and write on top of that, scribble. So it will show me the real world, but it will also show me on top of that something that doesn't exist in the real sense. So this is a fusion, and we sometimes call mixed reality, sometimes in the augmented reality. So we recently announced also in SDC, along with our work with a Google AR Core, and the functions is, let's say if I want to take the picture, I see the water bottle, I hold my phone, it's a preview of that. Can I detect and immediately tell that this is a bottle, plastic bottle, this is a water bottle, this is a Kinley water bottle? Can I provide you with the information, what is this containing, all of the labels that are there, if you're concerned about something to know, can you get that details? That's one kind of augmented reality with the text. But then there are other things. Environmental understanding, you can bring other kind of objects and mix it. Cartoon characters. Light estimations is one factor, because in which room, what is there? If you understand that, the source of lights, people are working in that direction. So we will mix up some of these, as I said, in 5G with the holographic content. What you see below is going to be an interesting experiment that can I see, not only from one point of the stadium in the match, but from the athlete's standpoint. How is he running? Can I see his standpoint? There are 100 cameras that will cover the stadium. I might have seated in a wrong place. Some cover is there in the front, but can I get to see from another camera's angle, even though I'm sitting from here? These are some interesting world. We don't have full solutions, but I think the world is moving into this direction. So that's the world of pixels. And I have less time, but I'll still talk about the world of sensors in few words. So this is my 20 billion IoT-enabled devices that are already available in the market. And in Samsung, we have made a commitment that by 2020, roughly, we'll make 100% of our devices IoT-enabled. What does it mean? It means a lot, because the world is fragmented today. There is no standard. There were many standards that were there, but Microsoft and Qualcomm, they had one body, Intel and us had another body, and we have forged these. Today we call OCF, Open Connectivity Foundations. That's quite merged. In fact, in next month, we are doing an OCF global convention here a little bit, because, along with some IoT summit, so that we can push that forward and make sure all of the people are talking in the same language. So when you look into that, there are many verticals, and each has its own business. Smart home, we acquired a company called Smart Things. What happens is you have your device, you have some of the hubs at home, but you also have a cloud. And where do you run? Not always you need to go to the cloud. And then you can have your refrigerator, air conditioner. We have from Samsung all of those devices. So first we want to make sure that our devices talk to each other. If I've done something in one device, the other device, if I reach, it should be able to do that. Put some extra displays, make them intelligent, and make a new world in the home. Second thing is connected car. We acquired a company recently, Harman. And this is a whole new world of vehicular technology of tomorrow. Car has a lot of sensors. If you look into it, probably the high-end cars have 25% electronics. Like, it's not mechanical in that sense, and it's going up and up. The number of sensors are growing, probably 100 plus sensors in that. Rain sensors, you want to check your fuel analytics, driver analytics, you want to have an infotainment, you want to have your sound alignment across the 4 different chambers that we have, and apply those technologies. So security, vulnerability, connectivity, big data analytics for car, this is a new world that we are trying to build. And I think not just us, but this is automated car and driverless car. This is a new journey for many. Similarly, not going into details, you can take it forward, although we are not working, but for India, it is very, very important to have smart agriculture. This country is quite reliant on that, and work has started happening. A lot of agri-tech startups are coming up, where to put the sensors, because it's remote. The knowledge is residing somewhere, but the things have to happen in another place. And people cannot always travel. That's not the way to do. So how do you make that? It's very interesting, and with T-Hub and other places, we are working to see how we can enable this furthermore through the sensors. And the last slide that I had is on the industrial IoT. As people are doing more at home, but we also realize that IoT's success to, for it to take off, it is very, very important that we have an industrial base, B2B, the enterprise segment of it. And we are looking into that. These are very subtle in that sense, because some of the sensors, they have to be inflammable, resistant, and acoustic, sound, vibration. There's a mechanical component that is also associated. There's a chemical component that is associated. So we are trying to create a new world with that. There is an industrial IoT forum. There is newer technology components that are coming up, and we are hoping to play some role over time in this area. So that's a glimpse of, in my way, to merge with what you have, the world of bits, pixels, and sensors. And just to tell you one thing, that it's very, very important that they go hand in hand. 2 times I have an experience, that I boarded a flight in Delhi, and I told my driver here that I am boarding, and it's a 2-hour, 40 minutes flight, plus coming out, and he could not reach the airport, right? So it's very, very important that the airways and the roadways are in line, in conformance. Then only, we will get the results. Otherwise, the weakest link will decide what we are going to get. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your work.